Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're working on the 68 Mustang no prep car. Not many of you have even seen this car. I did a short on this not long ago. It's in process right now, and you guys are going to have to catch up, get up to speed, learn what's going on, and I'll do my best to fill in the gaps of what I've done to the car. So anyway, well, let's get rolling. Here we go. First thing that's got to happen is this engine's got to come out. My engine of choice for this car is a good old Ford FE engine. Old dump truck engine, as some guys call it. Anyway, great old engine. You never see anybody using this engine no prep. So it's going to be kind of unique. Behind it, a bell housing and power glide transmission. Dashboard's out of it. Obviously, it's just a mock-up block. The engine that will be going in it will be an all aluminum FE. Again, definitely want to try to take a weight off the front end and get the most advantage I can for the no prep racing. Try to get the car weight bias close to 50-50 as I possibly can without adding a whole ton of weight. In the front, it's kind of a hybrid suspension. It's one I designed. You can see the original lower control arm mounts are still intact. They use the original lower control arms in their original positions, but have been modified for Fox body ball joints by using ball joint cups that you'd use for custom lower control arms. And here is that control arm. You can see the extra reinforcement welded in position to help hold everything together with that Fox body with the Fox body ball joint cup. You see even more reinforcement underneath to keep everything tight. And these stock bushings will be replaced with spherical ball type bushings, so it has absolutely no bind whatsoever through the whole movement of the suspension. Again, keeping with more of a stock suspension, or at least trying to make it look that way, I use the original radius rods, but modified them with heim joints, brackets, and aluminum bushings that bolt in the original location to fasten the radius rod to the frame. Up top, I had custom upper mounts made for the Mustang Fox body struts with a slot adjustment so I can adjust the camber on the top. And the factory slot still is on the bottom, so I can adjust it on the bottom. Also made a custom rack and pinion mount that again uses a Fox Body Mustang rack and pinion steering. I coupled that with Borgeson U-joints, a DD or double D steering shaft, 3/4 inch, up to a Motion Raceworks column that would be originally used in a Fox Body Mustang. And there's that column mounted in the car. The two locations on the upper part of the column were pretty darn close to matching with the original mounts of the Mustang. I had to fabricate mounts for the lower bracket to make it all work. And I'm using QA1 bump steer kits. This is definitely going to need some bump steer adjustment. I do have the shims in there. That's pretty much where it needs to be because of the travel. I will have probably close to 6 inches of travel, so there will be quite an arc of the wheel through that travel, so I need to keep that bump steer under control as much as I can. And here is one of the struts for the front end. Standard strange stuff. Single adjustable. About a 6-inch travel. It's a good starter strut. We'll see how things go. I can always go long travel stuff. I built that front end in order to be able to run the long travel struts. Basically using a stock firewall, 100% stock location over here. I had to modify it for a Willwood double master cylinder and pedal assembly that is mounted up under the dash inside the driver's compartment. Over here I smoothed the bump for the heater, which allowed me to push the engine back as far as I could go in the confines of the stock firewall. You can see the distance that I've created between the firewall and the apron. That would have been where the bump came out to meet the apron. You're looking probably about 2.5, 3 inches.
That's what she said.
So that gave me all that extra clearance to move the engine back. Again, it's only a little bit, but every little bit helps. Out here, it's very similar to its tube chassis style car, with the reinforcement of the bars coming out toward the front, meeting up with the upper strut cup, tying down into the frame, and then going down to meet the front frame rail at the front of the car. With the dash out, you can see the crossbar going across, tying the cage together. And then looking down inside, you can see the bar that comes in from the front suspension and backs up to the X bar, which then runs down to the bottom of the main hoop and ties into the reinforcement cradle I have in the bottom of the car. Again, another bar going straight forward. Just really trying to triangulate everything, keep everything tight. It is a unibody car. Roll cage tucked up in there nice and tight up against the original headliner. And then inside the trunk area, you can see where the two down tubes from the back of the roll cage come down and terminate into the frame. This bar here will be tied into the rear frame and act as a parachute mount. Which will come out right there. Underneath the car, you can see the cross member for the transmission, tubular, removable, and then the big X brace that runs through the center of the car to tie everything together underneath. Now looking at the underneath of the car, you can see tubes that tie the rockers together, the front and rear torque boxes to each other. The roll cage comes down and fastens right in to the tubes, right in this location, right in here, and then ties into the frame, runs back into the X. There's where the roll cage ties into. Getting a little dark back here, but you can see, hopefully, where it ties back into the frame, into the back of the car. And we have a Mosier rear 35 splined axles, spool, standard leaf spring stuff. OEM leaf springs. I prefer them because, quite honestly, these OEM leaf springs, when compared to Calvert mono leafs, have more extension or droop, which means you get more extension out of the suspension. Running a pair of Matt Funkhauser lower shock mounts and upper mounts that have some adjustability in them. You'll put the shock in there exactly as I need it. And just running good old shackles. Again, nothing fancy. Hopefully this video got you up to date with the progress on the build of the 68 Mustang no prep car. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the progress as the car moves forward. And for all the future builds coming soon. Thanks for